Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the beautiful Peak District, and a hello from a very tired Mike. 2.5 hours sleep last night, so I'm shattered, and the worst part about it, don't look like there's going to be any sunrise this morning. So last night, you might remember me talking about, well, I say last night, it was last week's video for you guys. You might remember me talking about when I was taking the picture of the Bearstone Rock. And I was taking a picture of the Bearstone, saw the light behind me, whipped it round, changed to the 50mm lens, whipped it back, had to change back to the 24-35, which I started on. And it got me thinking about the topic for today's video, and it's my take on primes versus zooms, one of the great debates in photography, not just landscape photography, but photography in general. But obviously, the points I'm going to be making will be more to do with landscape photography. Now, before I touch on that, as I said in last week's video, we're at the other end of the Roaches this morning. And I'll tell you what, waking up to the bird songs and stuff was absolutely beautiful. And the sound of the sheep, of course. So, prospect of, yeah, sunrise isn't looking great. But, if we look over there, I don't know if you'll see it, there's some low-hanging cloud and stuff. So, as it gets lighter, maybe in for a bit more moody skies. But for now, I'm just going to continue making my way up the Roaches. And yeah, we'll check back in a bit. Well, everything just got a wee bit manic there. Sorry, make sure you can hear the mic. It's a bit breezy this morning. It's not cold, it's a bit breezy. Anyway, so I'm starting to feel a little bit disheartened. And I thought, oh, I'm going to take a picture, because it's beautiful, even with moody skies and stuff. You know, oh, one of these days I'll get up early and... Sorry, I've got the wireless remote in my hand because I'm monitoring the shot. And yeah, you know, one day I will actually get up and have some really epic light and stuff. Actually looks really nice behind me over there. Actually looks like that as well, not just on the camera. Anyway, yeah. So I thought, oh, I'll take a picture. And I'll spin you around for the composition, but because of this breeze, I have a feeling it's going to get quite windy down the mic. So what you've got is you've got hang cloud just there, surrounded by all this weird mist. You've got this rock stack. If it has a name, I apologise, I do not know what it is. You've got the dry stone wall leading into it, and you've got this body of water over there as well. So realistically, minus my fat head, that's pretty much similar to the composition we've got. And what you had was a little bit of light just started kicking off here. So I was running around manically to make sure I got the composition. I started off on the other side of the dry stone wall to get a shot because it looked nice. Hang cloud didn't have as much mist over it and stuff as well. So it actually looked really nice. But yeah, then it all just started kicking off. So I was running around like a nutcase trying to get that light in there. But yeah, some of these clouds are looking quite nice. Now, I wasn't going to ascend any higher because you've got all this mistiness here, but I did notice, you can't really see it, over there, there's some trees and the mist is in the tree. So I might actually have a look, just see if I can do some kind of woodland shots. Not what I was planning on doing. Might have a wander up that way first though, because it looks like I might be able to get up to some rock's edge there. But yeah, so primes versus zooms, my 2 pence worth. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the pros of a prime lens. Some of them, some relevant ones, I'm sure other people will mention them. So what you'll tend to find is obviously they're lighter than zoom lenses. Always benefit when you're doing landscape photography. Another one as well is that they are considered a faster lens, and what that means is obviously the aperture. You usually get things like from f1.2, f1.4s, f1.8s, things like that. Most zooms of any quality are usually only f2.8. Also as well, you will get some zooms that have variable apertures. Obviously with a prime lens, because it's a single, bit of colour, because it's a single focal length, you literally only have that one aperture. There's no variation to it at all. One other thing as well that I would probably say about primes over zooms is cost. You can actually get good quality prime lenses for a fraction of the price of a good quality zoom lens. You will also get as well things like the often deemed the nifty 50s. The 50mm f1.8 are usually quite bargain buys, and yeah, the build quality is terrible, but the actual image quality is quite good. It's like they went, to make it cheap, we'll stick some good glass in it, but we'll make it out of plastic. So yeah, it's another one of those way offs, but you know, usually price wise not too bad. I picked up my Sigma 50mm f1.4 out used, but it was like 400 quid, and that thing's built like a tank. Beautiful. Now probably one of the biggest advantages of primes over zooms is image quality. What you will often find is that corner to corner sharpness it blows zooms out of the water. So yeah, you tend to find that sharpness and everything across the whole lens is better. There's no moving parts, there's no trade-offs or anything, so yeah. Right, we'll come back to talking about zoom lenses in a minute. Oh, that mist has lifted. I'm gonna go have a scout around because the sky's now kicking off over there as well. We are half hour after sunset. It seems like the sun's decided to wake up. So yeah, stick with us. Let's go see if we can find any other random shots. Well, I made it up the top. Frustratingly, got into those little bit of trees and there's all those rocks and stuff, and then there was the trees, and I was like, oh man, that mist looks epic, wonderful. Need to get some rocks in front of it with the trees and then to the mist. And literally within 10 seconds of me trying to find a composition, the mist lifted, which is really disappointing because it looked really nice, but never mind, never mind. Would have just been a bit of a bonus shot. Look at that behind me. It's not translating very well on the video, to be fair. Loads of mist. So first of all, I'm a bit of an idiot. I think the sun was actually supposed to rise over this side, so I was on the wrong side of the Roaches. But it's fine. There was so much mist over this side, or low cloud like that, wouldn't have been able to see anything anyway. I think I got the best of the light, to be honest with you, around the other side. So yeah, definitely not disheartened. So, the great debate, primes versus zooms. Actually, I want to head over that way because I want to head towards the mist and use one of those rocks as foreground. Sorry, I've turned around and there's probably a bit of wind now as well. So, no, I think I'm actually a bit sheltered up here, which is nice. There's a bit of a breeze, but not like it was down there. Anyway, that great debate. So, the pros of zoom lenses. One is, obviously, that light's just warming up, the versatility. You know, if you look at something, prime example, everyone's favourite lens, the 24-70 f2.8, or now they make f4s as well. But yeah, that wonderful lens that everyone loves. How many lenses, how many prime lenses would you need to cover that focal length? 24, 28, 35, 50, 70, get it all in one lens. Now what I will say as well, I mentioned image quality with the advantage of primes. Now, zoom lenses, sorry, this path's really uneven. Zoom lenses, the image quality has come a long way. And obviously, you know, the better the zoom, the better the image quality. So, yeah, you know, they're still good quality with the added versatility. Sorry, excuse me. I was just necking some water a minute ago. A little bit of kind of a hiccup. Yeah. Okay, another pro of a zoom lens. I mentioned weight for primes as well. Now, if you carry one prime lens, let's say, you know, landscape photography, you're carrying a 28mm. That's the only one you bring with you. You know, you can crop in and stuff, but it's a nice wide angle, not too wide. Fantastic, lovely and lightweight. If you decide to carry a prime lens to cover every focal length, that weight is going to be greater than a zoom lens of the equivalent. As I say, if you had a 24, 28, 35, 50 and 70mm lens, or a 24-70, no compromise. Yeah, so weight can be a benefit there, it really can. Now I'm going to touch on cons of the zoom lenses, and they pretty much balance with the pros of the prime lenses. Cost, they're often a lot more expensive, and weight, as I say, they tend to be heavier than a singular prime. Cons of a prime lens, the impracticality. You know, if you have so many of them, just to cover the varying focal lengths, it's not practical, nor cost effective, to be fair. Yeah, they just kind of balance out against the pros of the opposite type of lens. So, which is better to use for landscape photography? I'll come back to that before I sign out. I'm going to have a look around for some more pictures because I've got a couple of bits of large rock for foreground interest, and that mist is still loitering over some woodland over there. So yeah, stick with us. Let's see if we can find any more images. Right, so I think my time at the Roaches is done. I want to head to another destination before the world wakes up on Saturday morning and decides to descend down there. It is 6:05 in the morning now. So what I want to do is I want to head back to the car, whip out the fire maple, make a coffee because I've not had one this morning. Speaking of which, I'd have thought while I was actually getting ready this morning, don't know if anyone remembers, there used to be a company called Rocket Fuel who used to make really strong coffee, but they used to do a self-boiling can of coffee. Man, another company needs to come out with things like that, because I would love to just bring out a fresh can of coffee and sit in nature and do that. I don't bring the fire maple with me, my bag's not big enough. I know there are other photographers out there who obviously take a lot of like the fire maples and stuff, and then Henry Turner and his pot noodles. So yeah, I don't do that, purely because my bag's not big enough and I'm not sure my back would take it. But yeah, I've not actually eaten this morning either, so I want to go back, whip out the fire maple, make a coffee, probably make up one of my porridge pots, and yeah, then I'll go on to my next destination. I want to get there about 7:30ish, if not earlier, to be honest with you. So yeah, we're done at the Roaches now. This is definitely somewhere I want to return to, because this place is actually beautiful, and I can imagine it being beautiful at any time of day as well, whether it be sunset, sunrise, midday, if you've got the right skies for it, if it's a bit moody and stuff, with all the rocks and the craggy edges and everything. I think it's just beautiful. At the moment the mist is coming quite dense and it's really hazy a lot of the vistas over the back, not too bad over that way, but yeah, I think I'm done. I've got quite a few shots to actually work with as well, so yeah. Right, let's come back to the great debate, the primes versus zoom lenses. Now, my 2p worth, obviously, you know, it's entirely down to you, down to your personal choice and stuff like that. I think modern zooms nowadays have come, well, zooms in general, sorry, have come a long way, and modern zooms now are of such high caliber. I was considering buying almost a bit like an all-in-one zoom, to sort of, there's a Tamron one that's like a 28-200 or something like that, and the reviews I've read on it are absolutely fantastic. And anything with it like a super zoom, there's always going to be drawbacks to it because it covers such a wide focal range. I'm not really sure that would apply to landscape photography so much, more like close-ups and things. And one of the things I've read is that the bokeh isn't as good as it is on other lenses, but it is a super zoom. I have thought about actually getting a zoom to cover more of my focal range, probably just carrying like a 24-105. I have been looking at the Sigma one as a possibility. I think it just makes more sense. At the moment I'm carrying around 3 lenses. I could reduce that to 2 and give myself a greater focal range, and I would literally just have the 12-24 and a 24-105, a 28-200, something along those lines. Tamron also do a 35-150 as well. Now, if I did go for that, it would probably mean that I would still end up carrying 3 lenses, which would be the 12-24, 24-35, and the 35-150. I don't know. It's a really, really tough choice to try and minimize your lenses, but give yourself a greater focal length or a focal range. And I'm finding I'm feeling a little bit restricted at 50mm. I have thought about getting a 70mm or an 85mm or an 80mm, which one it is, but that means carrying more lenses. I would prefer to stick with primes, but for practicality, I think zooms win hand down. They really, really do. And as I say, with the way that technology and the advances in lens manufacturing, lens technologies, lens designs, the mirrorless world, I think zooms have come a long way, and it's definitely worth considering. One thing I've said before as well is don't buy cheap, else you buy twice. Quite a common phrase, and I think it's relevant to a lot of things as well. So yeah, that's just my 2 pence worth. Make your own mind up. But for me, I think invest in good quality zoom lenses, and I think that will benefit you no end. So there we go. Right, I'm gonna have a walk back. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna see any more images, but obviously, as per the usual, if I do, I'll stick them up at the end of this video. So obviously, if you like the video, give us the old thumbs up. Obviously, if you like the topic of the video as well, make sure you give us that like. Also, drop some subscribes from down the bottom as well, because as I say, we're heading on to another destination now. And yeah, this is Mike out. Take care and be safe, everyone. Peace.